Coming up on this edition of MU Report, we have coverage of the most recent state budget cut and how it's affecting Marshall.
Plus, what happened when a former Marshall men's basketball player returned to Huntington? All on this edition of MU Report, which starts right now.
From the campus of Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia. West Virginia's college news leader, the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications. This is MU Report.
Hello, and welcome to Spring 2014's 5th edition of MU Report, Marshall University's own student-produced newscast. I'm Kaylin Searles.
And I'm Allison Wickline. Now on to our top story. Money troubles continue to take center stage in West Virginia, and it appears higher education will, again, be bearing at least a part of the cutting. Lawmakers made some weighty decisions this winter, and Marshall, along with the state's other schools, are trying to figure out what to do next. Reporter Sean Delancey joins us in the studio with more. Sean?
Well, Allison, the legislature did decide to cut funding to state universities by 7.5%. This is tightening the purse that University President Stephen Kopp has to manage and making students afraid for their educational career.
More than $34 million slashed.
In some ways, we're looking at worst-case scenarios, but those scenarios are becoming more and more tenable as time goes on. And we said, all right, let's anticipate 10 years from now we have $50 million less in state appropriations than we had in fiscal year 13.
The West Virginia legislature cut funds to higher education by 7.5%, the same reduction that universities in West Virginia faced last year. Students at Marshall say they are concerned the trend of funding reductions will begin to empty their wallets.
Education should be the last place to be cut, in my personal opinion, cut elsewhere.
Marshall President Stephen Kopp says since 2006, the state has cut $468 million in tax revenue, leading to a budget gap that is running the state's bank account dry. Kopp says if this trend continues, Marshall will have to operate like a private university.
So whether we like it or not, we're being privatized, and that means we've got to think differently and act differently.
Kopp says that a public university has a public obligation, and this translates into free programs for students. He says if Marshall is forced to go private, that obligation and those programs would disappear. Sean Delancey, MU Report.
Kopp says Marshall operating like a private university would come after 10 years of repeated cuts, like they've seen in 2013 and 14.
Flames visible from blocks in every direction and a column of smoke visible for miles. That's what happened when a Huntington business caught fire just blocks away from campus. Saturday morning in late March on the corner of 7th Avenue and Hal Greer at the Napa Auto Care Center. The fire was fully involved when emergency crews arrived. By the time crews killed the flames, the building was gutted and only a concrete wall was left standing.
Finding your place at a university after being in combat for many years can be tough, but one Marshall grad student is making it work, and then some. Marshall grad student and 9-year Army veteran David Cottrell may be a long way from the front lines of Afghanistan, but he's using his war experiences for a new research study on soldier dehydration.
If you get to the location you're supposed to be and you're dehydrated and your physical performance is decreased, mission success becomes, something that's not going to be as firm as it would have been otherwise.
The test, a 60-minute treadmill climb in an 85-degree room. Combine that with each cadet dressed in full Army combat uniform, and conditions are pretty similar to war areas overseas.
With all of those variables, I'm simulating everything they would be doing on an average mission. We have the equipment they'd carry, the environmental temperatures they would expect, and the exercise intensity they would be expected to carry on as they're going on a patrol, up and down mountains, things like that, at a pretty fast walk.
The study's goal is to measure the physical effects of dehydration in cadets who drink pure water and cadets who drink an electrolyte solution like Gatorade. Cottrell says this particular research is all about soldier performance.
Based on the results that I get from here, commanders and trainers are going to be able to look at those and go, okay, if this is the type of environment that I am training for or operating in, here's what science shows is going to be better.
Cottrell's research is set to last about a month. He says he hopes the results can be used for practical improvements in military training here at Marshall and across the country. Though the results from his study aren't complete, Cottrell says almost all of the cadets preferred water to the electrolyte solution.
This semester is more than halfway finished, and only 1 month stands between the day every college student looks forward to, graduation day. Jessica Patterson reports on how the seniors are getting ready for the big day.
For Marshall University's tentative graduates, the countdown to graduation day has already begun. This is why Countdown to Commencement makes sure seniors have everything ready for graduation.
We find that by doing it right at the midterm, graduates aren't as busy as they are near the end of the term when you're concerned about, final papers and final exams. At Countdown to Commencement, everybody is experiencing success and everybody's really excited to be here and very glad to be graduating.
Countdown to Commencement brings all of the offices of Old Main, such as the bursar, registrar, and financial aid offices, together in a one-stop shop. Students say having all of the offices in one room makes preparing for graduation less stressful.
They were able to check for all my holds, even money that I had left on my account. I got to get my, all of my stuff I needed for graduation, pictures if I wanted them, rings. It was really good, well-rounded experience.
For some students, Countdown to Commencement can seem a bit surreal and has helped them realize it's time to graduate.
The Countdown to Commencement just kind of puts everything into perspective about getting ready to graduate and starting a new life outside of Marshall. So it's very exciting.
Countdown to Commencement is making planning for graduation easier on students' busy schedules by bringing an entire building into one room. Jessica Patterson, MU Report.
And with graduation approaching fast, Josie Landgrave reports on what seniors are doing to prepare for the next chapter of their lives.
Spring is in the air, which means the semester is coming to an end. Often a stressful time for students as they prepare for final exams and essays. But for seniors, spring means their days at Marshall are coming to an end.
I just want to be done.
Seniors are digging deep as they count down the days to graduation.
I've invested all this time for these years and a lot of hard work, and now I'll get to apply it.
As difficult as this time may be, seniors say the stress helps them prepare for life after Marshall.
It's probably going to get a lot worse the older you get, and your decisions are going to be a lot more hard, and they're going to affect your life more.
Realistically, college is not as stressful as what life after college will probably have to offer. So just learning to cope and to handle stress well now to better prepare for stress outside of this.
On May 10th, students will come here to celebrate all their hard work and achievements and become the class of 2014. As for their advice for the class of 2015, work hard and stay focused.
I try to use this time as to prepare yourself mentally. It's all practice.
Continue to work hard, to know that to not finish strong and to be stressed would make everything else to be done in vain.
Seniors say the road to graduation is long, challenging, and stressful, but well worth it in the end. Josie Landgrave, MU Report.
Commencement ceremonies will be at the Big Sandy Superstore Arena May 10th. The Bachelor of Arts degree ceremony will be at 9 a.m. and Master's degree ceremony at 2.
The results are in, and this year's class of Marshall Medical students were ready and eager to find out where they would be fulfilling their residencies. Well, it's finally here, Match Day, the day where thousands of med students from across the country learned their professional fate. Some West Virginia natives say staying close to home was important. It's where they grew up and where they have family.
I've been here my whole life. I'm a hometown girl. I have a family. I have 2 children and a husband here with a job, so it made the most sense for us to be here, and I love the program here as well.
Going out of state was not a number one priority. I was willing to take it on if it was possible. But staying in the state is definitely fulfilling. It's definitely something I wanted to do.
After 4 years of med school and months spent preparing, applying, and interviewing to dozens of residency positions, Marshall med students and their counterparts can finally feel a sigh of relief.
I've had all the anxiety symptoms that you learn about in med school, and I've been driving my family crazy, and I haven't been sleeping, but it feels so good now because I feel like I have a huge weight just lifted off my shoulders.
Med student Corey Keaton tried to take it all in after finding out he had earned a spot in a prestigious program that had so few spaces.
I'm still kind of overwhelmed.
For the first time this year, Marshall Match Day had a 100% match rate.
Former Marshall men's basketball player Johnny Hawk Thomas has taken his talents to a global scale. And as Taylor Kirchwin reports, the rookie Globetrotter made a return to Huntington, only in his new red, white, and blue uniform.
Johnny Hawk Thomas was clearly having a ball when he returned to his old stomping grounds, putting a whole new spin on the game of basketball.
I met a few people that, they know who I am, coming up to me, hey, Hawk, good to have you back. So it feels really, really good to be back in Huntington. It's been a little while. I've been traveling around, getting to see the globe, but at the same time, to be home, it feels great.
One fan that does remember Thomas's days with the herd says watching Hawks soar through the air brings him right back to them.
Here, especially here in Huntington, it's great to have a fellow Marshall alum to watch him out in the court again, throw down a couple dunks, throw a couple lob passes, just the same way he used to back in Henderson Center, just right down the street.
The Globetrotters may turn the traditional game of basketball upside down, but Thomas says he knows he's in the right element for the development of his career.
I'm comfortable. I feel like I'm in my own environment. I'm around a bunch of great guys. I'm around a great coach. So I feel like I'm in a super positive environment and at the same time in an environment that I can, grow in.
Johnny Thomas and the Harlem Globetrotters have traveled all over the world, providing a family fun experience for all fans. The next stop, Georgia. Taylor Kirchwin, MU Report.
The Marshall men's soccer team will kick off its regular season in the fall, but before they do, the team has the opportunity to kick off the cobwebs and play some exhibition games. And as Kyle Gibson reports, the team uses the springtime to sharpen its skills and bond as a team before the new year.
As the sun and warm weather returns to Huntington, the Marshall men's soccer team returns to practice for its spring session. The team will be allowed to practice and play exhibitions to prepare for the fall. Head coach Bob Gray says having plenty of games will help get all the players involved.
We purposely this year scheduled a lot of games, and fortunately we're playing them all at home, and we're playing several games where we're having multiple games in one day. So nobody's going to be able to complain about playing time, and hopefully they can put their stamp on what they want to do for the spring leading into the fall.
Spring practice isn't just about tactics and practice, though. Players say the team gets closer through spring practice, and that this year's squad is very tight-knit.
We're definitely a closer squad, probably the closest squad since I've been here at Marshall. A lot of guys, we hang with each other on, off the field, so team camaraderie is pretty big. I think all the guys here on the team this year are really close.
Since spring soccer games are just exhibitions, the ultimate result isn't getting a win. It's all about getting a team ready for the regular season in the fall. Kyle Gibson, MU Report.
Marshall Soccer played one of its exhibition games in March against its arch rival, West Virginia University, losing the game 2-1.
That's all the time we have for this edition of MU Report. Join us in 2 weeks for the final MU Report of the year on this West Virginia public broadcasting station. Our advisor is Dr. Chris Swindell. You can direct any questions to him at swindell@marshall.edu. I'm Allison Wickline.
And I'm Kaylin Searles. Have a great day.